All right, this is the Unit 4 review. What I have also open that you can see here is I have that prime factoring sheet, which has all the different types of roots, the good roots, as well as all of the prime factors, which will help us simplify some fractions when needed. Let's go through this. There are a lot of review questions from previous chapters along in this review. I will be reviewing those as well as we go along. So here we go. Write the expression so it has rational exponents. All right, so in essence, what they're asking you to do is to write this with exponents. And so the number is -64, and this is to a root of 3, so that is a denominator of 3. So that is ultimately written with exponents, rational exponents. Okay, so we have the square root of x. Square root of x should look like this. All right, so let's take a look at all the things that are different with this picture here. Okay, I see that this picture is left 3, it's down 4, and it's also flip-flopped upside down. So, the equation of this, or I guess this is y. Okay, so that's left 3. That's an x motion. The x is y. So that's not a minus, but rather a plus. That plus is left 3. Down 4 is a y, so that's an outside down 4. The x is y, but not the y. That's down 4. And then this has a flip-flop, which is an outside negative, and that's the flip-flop of it. And so your answer should be this equation right there. Okay, next problem, I have an equal sign, so that means that I need to get an answer. Both of these are to the third power, so because they're on both sides, I can go ahead and just cube both sides. So it's either isolate the root, or if they're on both sides, just go ahead and get rid of them. And so that will leave me with 120 plus 30x is equal to 240x minus 10. Get all letters to one side and numbers to the other. All right, so I see that my bigger x's are on the right-hand side, so I'm going to move all the x's, all the letters to the right, and all numbers to the left. All letters go to the right, all numbers go to the left. That's what I'm going to do. So to make that happen, I'm going to move this 30x, so I'm minus 30x. And then I'm going to move the number, the negative 10, to the right, so that's plus 10 onto that number. Okay, so my new statement is 210x is equal to 130. It's an odd number. It's a weird number to have. Usually they make happy-go-lucky numbers. So we divide the number that is right next to the x. And so x is equal to, I would put this into the calculator and reduce it. I think this reduces to 13 over 21. 13 over 21, I think, is as good as it gets in that particular problem there. Okay, this is a multiplication. Okay, this is a multiplication. So that means numbers multiply numbers, okay? And the exponents, when exponents are in multiplication, that implies addition. So I multiply the numbers, and when I quote unquote multiply the exponents, I'm actually adding. You add the exponents. Okay, it's an idea from last chapter. So negative 2 and 5 are the numbers. They multiply to negative 10. Now the x's, it's a multiplication. So it's a 1/4 times, quote unquote, times, which means add 1/2. Okay, you can plug that into your calculator just fine. It will help, it will handle it. So that's 1/4 plus 1/2, and your calculator should say that that is 3/4. If you're doing it by hand, you need a common denominator. So I need to make this second denominator 4. So this is going to be 1/4 plus 2/4, which is 3/4. Okay, so that exponent 1/4 times 1/2 is an add, so that's going to be 3/4 on that x. All right, solve for x. Notice how the root is only on one side of the equation. So what you need to do is you need to make sure it's isolated. What I mean by that is this. There's no other, pluses or minuses or, things multiplying the root. So the only thing on this side of the equation is the root itself. There's nothing else but it. Okay, so you have to isolate the root. Okay, so the root is isolated. So that means I can go ahead and square it. And so what you do is square the entire side. So this left-hand side is easy peasy now. This right-hand side is a little bit more complicated because I see that I now have x plus 3 squared, which means x plus 3 times x plus 3. So this is going to be x times x times 3, 3 times x, and 3 times 3. So this multiplication of this right-hand side turns out to be x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay, because I have an x squared involved, I'm going to move everything to that x squared side. So that would involve moving the 7x and moving the 21. So to move the 7x, I have to minus 7x. I'll match that up with the x that's already over there. Okay, so that moved the 7x. I have to move the 21. So this is a minus 21 on that, and that moves the 21. So that makes this left-hand side equal to 0. This right-hand side gets a little updating. And now this is a factoring problem to find its zeros. So I multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 1. So that's going to be 3 and 4. But I'll show you how that is created in case you have forgotten a little bit. So here the multiplication number is negative 12. So the ways to multiply to 12 are 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, 4. Because it's negative, only one of the numbers is negative and not the other. I want to add to a negative 1, so that is the only option that adds to a negative 1. So my factor would be positive 3 and negative 4. And that makes our x's equal to negative 3 and positive 4. The original question is not mentioning anything about extraneous solutions, so I'm not going to get into extraneous solutions in this problem. But if a problem did ask you for like which ones are extraneous, et cetera, you would have to plug these into the very, very original equation to see if it works out. I think I did it on the answer key, and they both work out, so that's all fine. So if you want to take a look at that, go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, write this, number 6, write this in radical form. Again, what a denominator is. Okay, what a denominator is the type of root that it is. Okay, it's the type of root that it is. So if it has a denominator of 3, it's a root of 3. The numerator is just the power that is still on the thing. Okay, it's still like to a power of 2. Okay, so we can write this 27 in a couple different ways. Okay, one way would be the third root of 27 squared. Okay, so the power is still 2 and the root is 3. Or you can have the root of 27 squared, something like that. That is also a legit way of doing it. So as long as the root is a third root and the power is a 2, it's all good. Okay, number 7, again, we have a review type question. So they want to reflect this across the X, so that's a flip-flop, a shift down 6, and a right 6. Okay, so that's what we want to do, and we're doing that to an X squared. An X squared. So here we go. Okay, let's flip this. Flip this. A flip is an outside negative. An outside negative is the flip. Okay, so that's that reflected across the x-axis portion. Down 6, that's a y motion. So that's on the outside. So down 6, the y's don't lie. Write that in black. Down 6. So the y's don't lie. So that is down 6. The x's lie, however, so if I want to move this to the right, it would actually be a minus 6. So it would be a minus 6, and that would be a right motion. Okay, simplify completely. Not a problem. All right, so when I have this exponent to the 3/4, I'm going to take that to everything that is on this inside. So that means 256 to the 3/4. X squared to the 3/4. 81. You guessed it, to the 3/4. Now, oftentimes these numbers come out to be good numbers. And here's where I encourage you to use your Desmos calculator. Again, how you would enter this into the Desmos calculator. Say I wanted to take that 256 to the 3/4. You would type in 256 to the, which is that little like triangle looking button. And then to get the 3/4 into your calculator, you have to put the exponent in a parentheses. And again, this is 3 divided by 4. That's 3/4. Okay, so you can go 256 to the 3/4. I'll show you on my Casio calculator here. Okay, so 256 to the, I hit the triangle button, I open a parentheses, 3 divided by 4, 3/4. So 256 to the 3/4. And in this chapter, they most often come out to be a peachy keen number, like it is here. So 64. Okay, 81. I can do that exact same thing. 81 to the 3/4. That comes out to be 27. Okay, now the x. The x. So I have x squared to the 3/4. What do I notice about this? That's a power to a power. A power to a power. Pow, pow. Multiply now. Pow, pow, multiply now. So I need to take 2 times 3/4. You can do it in the exact same way. You can do that, or if you know how to multiply fractions, you can do 2 times 3/4, and that ultimately is going to be 6/4, which is 3/2. Or your calculator can tell you that as well. You can take 2 times 3/4, peachy keen, that is 3/2. So that is the answer. If that isn't an option, sometimes they want it to be written as radicals, right? So if that isn't an answer option, oh, it is an answer option. Oh, I wrote the answer options right there. Right there. Sorry. Yes, it is an answer option. Never mind. Never mind what I was going to say. Okay, this problem we want to take f plus g, f plus g. Okay, so x's are only allowed to add to other x's, x squareds with x squareds, numbers with numbers. So this is an addition, so that's good. I don't have to change any signs. So x squareds, there's 2x squareds. X's, there's 1 and 5, so that's 6. Numbers are -4 and +1, so that's -3. Okay, number 10. I have a root only on one side, so that means I need to isolate that root. Okay, so I'm looking at just this left-hand side, and I need to get this root all by itself. So that means I need to get rid of that +7 to begin this problem. So I'm -7. Okay, this is a shear addition subtraction kind of video. And so what I'm left with is the third root of x minus 4. Okay, so to get rid of a third root, I have to take it to the third power. So that gets rid of the root, and I am now left with x minus 4 and 11 to the third power. Actually, I think I have it on this page. 11 to the third power is 1,331. All right. That's kind of a big number. And then to get the x alone, I have to add 4. Okay, we need to solve for that y. So in essence, what I'm looking for is what is the exponent on the x. That is going to be the answer. Right? The easiest way to do that is to recognize these things as exponents. So the numerator is x to the 4th root, so that's to the 1/4. The denominator, the x has a power of 5, but it also has a to the 4th. So again, pow multiply now. 5 times 1/4 is 5/4. Okay, so now I am left with a division. The division is the same thing as a subtraction. It is the top minus the bottom. Okay, a division is the same thing as a subtraction in the world of exponents. So this is telling me, in essence, this is 1/4 minus 5/4. You can do that into your calculator. It's not a big deal. that is equal to negative 4/4, which is negative 1. So this end result, this is equal to x to the negative 1. So if that's equal to x to the y, it's logical that y is equal to negative 1. Okay, simplify the expression completely. Completely. Okay, let's see, how do I want to handle this? Great. So, think about the number 32. Okay, looking at my factor sheet, the number 32 is the number 32 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. There's going to be some stuff going on here. So 32 is the same thing as saying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, this is the same thing as saying 32. Okay. This is 32 to the third power. So 32 to the third power is 32 times 32 times 32. That's what 32 to the third power is. So that would mean times 2 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 times 2. Okay, a lot of twos. 15 twos. All right, so what I'm mentioning to this is that's what 32 to the third power is. Oops. That's what 32 to the third power is. Right? So if this is on the inside of a fifth root, that means I'm trying to make groups of 5. If I can make a group of 5, it can come to the outside. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, outside 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, outside 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, outside 2. So this is an outside 2, an outside 2, an outside 2, which is an outside 8, inside nothing. So this answer is 8. Okay, this answer is 8. All right, I think you could understand this if you understand fractions a little bit. This is to the 3/5, and I believe a calculator will tell you the exact same thing. 32 to the 3/5. 8. If it comes out to be decimals, then you have to get a little bit more tricky about it. But I don't think it will. Okay, write the equation of the cube root. What are the things? Down 6, right 5, and reflecting. All right, here we go. So f of x, cube root. All right, here we go. So down 6, that's an outside minus 6. That's a down 6. Right 5, so you'd think plus, but that's a liar. So that's a right 5. You would think plus, but the x's lie, not the y. And then a reflection is an outside negative. Oh, we have a word problem. Oh. The velocity of a free-falling object is blah, 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 where v is the velocity, h is the distance, and g is gravity. Okay. How far did the object fall? Okay, so that is h. Okay, how far is the distance? How far did the object fall when the velocity, v, of 80 feet per second? So the question is, what is h? How far did the object fall? All right, so if the original equation is v squared is equal to 2gh, let's do some substitutions. Okay, the velocity, they said the velocity is 80 feet per second. So velocity of 80. Gravity, they just straight up say it's 32. Excuse me. And then H is the question that we are here to answer. Okay, so the left-hand side is 80 squared, so that's 6,400, I believe. 80 squared. Yeah, 6,400. 2 times 32 is 64. All right, so to solve for H, all I have to do is divide. That should be equal to 100. Outstanding. So H is 100. To be a good mathematician, you should probably get some sort of label on that. So H is feet. Okay, it says so right here. H is distance in feet. Okay, the square root is isolated. That's awesome. So all I have to do is square both sides. So that makes 2x is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 16. All right, again, if you need to break that down, that's x minus 4 squared. So x times x times -4 times x, -4 times -4. Combine the middle two, and huzzah. All right. So the root was isolated, so I square both sides. Because I have a square, I move everything to that square side. So that's going to be ultimately a minus 2x. So to move this to x, I have to minus 2x. So that makes this left-hand side equal to 0, and I have negative 10x. Multiply to a positive 16 and add to a negative 10. That's going to be negative 2 and negative 8. That multiplies to a positive 16, but adds to a negative 10. So if that's the case, x is equal to positive 2 and positive 8. I think they both work out, so those are both the answers. That's it.